And hello again from Fox News in Washington. Well, we're now just hours away from a potential government shutdown. While most of us were sleeping, the House passed a revamped spending bill, but added conditions the president and Senate Democrats call unacceptable. Joining me now, the man in charge of counting votes in the House, the Republican whip, Kevin McCarthy of California. Congressman, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me.
So now you have sent a measure to the Senate to keep funding Obamacare, but with a year delay in keep funding the government, rather, but with the year delay in Obamacare and also a repeal of the tax on medical devices. Now, Harry Reid, Senate Majority Leader, says that is dead on arrival in the Senate when they come back into session Monday afternoon, 10 hours before the shutdown. I know you want them to pass it. I know you think there are all kinds of good reasons they pass it. Let's assume they don't pass it. They're true to their word. What do you do then?
Well, you assume they won't, but there were 79 senators who voted to end the pacemaker tax. You have the president 10 times this year, every single month, delaying a portion of Obamacare. Just last week he did it while he was criticizing us for delaying. I think let's have the debate. Let's allow those senators in states that they need to listen to representatives.
It's a privileged motion. They don't even have to debate it. Harry Reid can, with 51 votes, can throw it in the trash can.
He can throw it back, but I think from the standpoint, when you look at the American public, learning what's going on in this bill, opposing it, you go to Louisiana, you go to Alaska, you go to these states that are overly opposing it, where these senators have some very difficult races, I think they're going to have to be pressuring their leader to say, let us have that vote.
Okay, assume, for the sake of this discussion,
yes,
that they reject it, as they say they're going to reject it. What will the House do then?
I think the House will get back together in enough time, send another provision, not to shut the government down, but to fund it, and it will have a few other options in there for the Senate to look at again. Look, when you look at what has transpired since Obamacare is moved forward, we've created more than 840,000 jobs in this country. More than 90% of them have been part-time because of Obamacare. That creates a part-time economy, part-time opportunities, and in the end, it creates a part-time America. That is why you find that we will fund the government and still ask for delaying the movement of Obamacare.
Okay, here is what President Obama said about this situation on Friday.
My message to Congress is this: do not shut down the government, do not shut down the economy, pass a budget on time, pay our bills on time.
Now, this will be the first government shutdown, if it happens, in 17 years. 800,000 federal workers will be furloughed. Economists say it will hurt a fairly weak recovery. Congressman, are you willing to risk all that?
We are not shutting the government down. While the president was out golfing and the senators went home, we were here working to 1 a.m. to make sure we didn't shut the government down, that we put a funding bill across. And the difference here is you just listen to the president, talk to the president of Iran, talk to Putin, but won't sit here and talk to the representatives of the American people. They like to come through and deal with this problem. You have found that the president went out to the American people and said, if you have your health care and you like it, you can keep it. This letter right here is to a widower in New Jersey, just happened to be the mother of one of my staffers, that says they can no longer keep the health care. She can't renew it next year. He cannot ignore this problem. This is an opportunity, when you find that Obamacare is not going to work, to delay it.
All right, let me ask you a couple of quick questions,
sure,
quick answers. Assuming, just bear with me, assuming that the senators do what they say they're going to do and they reject this measure, will you pass a clean CR with Democratic votes and send it back to the Senate to avoid a shutdown?
This is not a place to negotiate, but I will promise you this. We will pass a bill, if the Senate does what you think they will do, that will keep the government open, that will reflect the House, that I believe the Senate can accept, that will have fundamental changes into Obamacare that can protect the economy for America.
So there will be an Obamacare rider, amendment, if you will. It won't be a clean CR.
I think there will be additions that I have found in the Senate that Senate Democrats that said they can support. You just heard a senator from West Virginia that is a Democrat that said, why does the president just treat business one way, but he won't treat an individual another way? I think there's big support inside the Senate that we can pass that will fundamentally help the economy of America.
Well, all right. If delay and the whole deal and defund are off the table, what's on the table?
There are a lot of items that are on the table. Look, you have spent more time negotiating with me than the president spent any time negotiating on this. This is one of the biggest problems facing America. How many times have you found the Teamsters, the biggest unions in America, partnering with business? And what do they say about Obamacare? They say it's destroying the economy. It's breaking the backbone of America because no longer are we having full-time jobs. This bill is creating a part-time America.
Let me ask you another quick question. How about the possibility of a short-term, clean CR, keep funding the government 2 or 3 days just so you can avoid the shutdown and keep this going, give yourselves more time?
Look, we will not shut the government down. If we have to negotiate a little longer, we will continue to negotiate.
So,
but the one thing you will find...
A very short-term CR is a possibility.
The thing that I continue to look at, we do not want to shut the government down. That's why we have continued to pass funding bills. But you cannot have a part-time America and ignore the problem. You cannot have a president that passes legislation that says he won't deal with the subject. And you think that he won't sign a bill? Do you realize he has signed 7 bills that have changed provisions inside Obamacare? That there are 70 Democrats sitting in that House today that have voted for one form or another of that? So there is a support. And when you look at the American public, the more they learn about it, the majority is opposed to it.
Congressman, I mean, let's be honest. You did not want to be in this position. The fact is that Speaker Boehner and all of you in the leadership wanted to send the Senate originally a bill that would fund the government. Yes, it would have a defund Obamacare measure in it, but it could be taken out and passed, and that was refused by members of your caucus. Then you wanted to switch pass a clean CR and have the fight over the debt limit. And again, the so-called Tea Party faction of Republicans, congressmen, refused, which raises the question, who's running the House right now?
Look, never doubt, if you watched that vote last night, unanimous Republicans voting for it. We all have the same goal, inside the House and inside the Senate.
But that isn't what
we
you
have
wanted.
different strategies at times. But this is a much bigger issue. This is an issue about the direction of America. We have a $17 trillion debt, larger than our entire economy. We have a part-time American job creation. 90% of all jobs created in the last year were part-time. This is a much bigger issue about what we are spending our money on and what is coming into this country.
A couple of final questions. Ted Cruz and our next guest, Mike Lee, have been seen openly on the House floor lobbying Republican conservatives to buck the plans of Speaker Boehner and yourself. Do you have any problem with them meddling with House Republicans?
I find individuals have the exact same goal. They have gone on where Cruz has talked for 21 hours. How many more people learned about Obamacare? How many more people realize now the effects that it will have on America? So it's not just the widow that finds out they don't get their health care anymore. It's not the trade unions that find out. So you don't have a problem
with them going and lobbying on the House floor against your plan?
We have the same goal. At times we have different strategies, but we are working to the same end.
Finally, you've got 2 deadlines in the next month. First of all, on October 1st, as we have pointed out, the government runs out of money. We have the possibility of a shutdown. Then, as you can see there, on October 17th, we bump up against the debt limit, and the president swears he will not negotiate on that. Take a look.
I will not negotiate on anything when it comes to the full faith and credit of the United States of America.
Now, as you point out, at the same time he's refusing to negotiate on that, he has just opened diplomatic talks with the Iranians. But I want to put up a list of the measures that you guys want to add, and let's put them up on the screen, to if the conditions for adding to an increase in the debt limit. A 1-year delay in Obamacare, tax reform, build the Keystone Pipeline, limit environmental regulations. The White House says, you guys want to attach the entire Republican platform to raising the debt limit. Isn't that over the top?
No, we want to grow jobs. We want America to start working again. How is that crazy? When did it come in America that creating jobs was something wrong? And look, for one point, he'll spend the time talking to everybody else, but he's not listening to the American people. A Bloomberg poll just came out that 61% of Americans want him to negotiate on where we're going on our debt. Look at the addition since he's become in to the debt. $17 trillion. That's more than our entire economy. Why won't he sit to negotiate?
$17 trillion isn't his. I mean, what is it, 8 or 9 million of it is his.
But why isn't he negotiating? He'll negotiate everywhere else, but he won't sit and focus on what is happening in America today?
Congressman McCarthy, thank you. Get some sleep. You were up late last night. Thanks for coming in today. We'll watch what happens on Capitol Hill over the next 24 hours.
Thanks for having me.